Christmas! I am so honored to bring to you this episode on this day, Christmas Day 2020. And I am also so grateful we are hitting 30,000 subscribers, 30K in just 3 months. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you for loving this content, for accepting it, for absorbing it. Thank you for your emails, your feedback. Oh, I feel so good. Like I have joy in my heart at this moment. And anything is possible. And God blesses the work of our hands. So thank you so much and Merry Christmas. I hope you're enjoying your Christmas. You're kulaing nyama choma as you watch this video and a sip of whatever drink you like or whatever makes you happy. I am happy myself. So today we are having a very sensitive topic, childhood trauma. Healing the inner child. You have elements of childhood trauma if you have anger issues, you have anxiety, you have attempted suicide or you are suicidal, you have a string of toxic relationships. So if you have extreme reactions, physical reactions or emotional reactions to situations, chances are you went through childhood trauma. When we talk about childhood trauma, we think about rape, we think about sexual abuse, we think about such things, but it is way more than that. Those are the extremes. But something as simple as bullying brings about childhood trauma. Living in dangerous neighborhoods, physical abuse as children, especially when in your 30s, you went through serious spanking. Issues to do with watching at one of the parents suffer, or watching one of your parents go through domestic violence, watching through people you love go through pain as a child, also abandonment, especially even for firstborns where you had to take care of your other children. You are not allowed to be a child, you had to be responsible at a young age. Those things traumatize you. And also I've talked about beatings like spanking for children. Sometimes maybe if you did something today, you're told you will get the spanking next Friday. You know what that does? It creates fear. It creates anxiety. Most people went through a lot of childhood trauma. So things like lack of parental love, abandonment, neglect, feeling like you're not good enough. Those are things that cause childhood trauma. So we're talking about healing that child, healing the inner child. In most instances, childhood trauma happens to us when we were young. And sometimes we think asking for forgiveness from the bullies, telling your parents what they did to you, getting an apology from your guardians or caregivers when you were young, we think that will heal you, but it won't. Because when you go through trauma, you develop coping mechanisms. You develop anger issues. You shut down your emotions. You have anxiety attacks. You become emotionless. You start becoming suicidal. There is what childhood trauma causes afterwards. So as much as they're going to apologize, they would apologize. You would ask them for forgiveness. You would tell them what they did to you. It will not undo the damage caused after the trauma. I hear some of the firstborn saying, I was huku fetching firewood when I was 8 years. I was carrying my siblings. I was cooking when I was 8 years. I wasn't loved. I had to take care of other children. I wasn't allowed to be a child. Your points are valid. Your feelings are valid. I went through bullying. I went through abandonment because I went to boarding school when I was really young and I felt neglect, and that thing affected me big time. And I didn't know I went through childhood trauma until I went for therapy, and then we started talking about my childhood, and oh boy, I was a mess and I broke down so much. And when most people remember about their childhood, they associate it with sadness and with pain. So how do you heal this inner child? How do you heal that child? The only thing, as much as they would apologize to you, your parents can apologize, we did this to you, or your bullies, or your caregivers, or whoever it is that made you go through childhood trauma. Someone was supposed to love you and protect you and they didn't, and you are not safe, and you developed fear, you developed depression, anger issues and all that. The solution is being your own parent now. What is it that they should have done? Give it to yourself. Give it to that hurt child. I have a video. I think, I don't know if this is too soon to say. I have a link that my therapist gave to me that helped me. I will write it down here, but don't you dare touch it before I explain to you what it's supposed to do to you and how you're supposed to go about it. This link helped me search or find my inner child and heal that child. That bullied child in boarding school, that neglected child, I had to find her somewhere and heal her. So I can get, because I think in my early mid-20s, even a bit of late 20s, I was so angry. I was so bitter. I had a lot of depression, feeling I'm not good enough. I was so sad. I was such an unhappy woman, because the inner child is a person who lives. The inner child is a person who enjoys life. So if that child was hurt and you left her behind and grew up, it will catch up with you. And you went through childhood trauma mostly when you go through toxic relationships, especially if you had issues. Maybe you felt neglect from your dad, there was abuse, there was verbal abuse and all those things. Your first relationship with a man was toxic. You don't know any different. You find that you keep going through the same cycle over and over again. How do we heal this child? How do we tell this child it's okay, you're safe now, you're not worthless, you're worthy of love and those things? How do you find that child? Healing that inner child. This is a very sensitive topic. And if you're a counselor, if you're a therapist, please let me know in the comment section. Give us more tips and what I missed and how to identify those things. Higher rates of adults who attempt suicide or commit suicide, they went through childhood trauma. Yes. If you're suicidal, I get a lot of those emails. I do. I just want to take my life away and my baby. I hate living. I hate my life. You probably went through childhood trauma. And the only way to recover and to get over it is to give yourself what those caregivers did not give you. You are an adult. You heal yourself. You become your own parent. Hata waki-apologize, you might, sometimes we have those, it's kamweredo. We have those chamas where we take our friends, we go to the village, and then we open our heart to their parents, and then we tell them they tell us what we did, and then we apologize. That will not heal you. It probably is a start, but you have to love that. You have to give that child what was not given to them at that young age. So you can undo the anger, the anxiety, the fear, you understand? And when you do these exercise, I've said I have a link down here, you will realize you have nothing to forgive the bullies for, you have nothing to forgive your parents for, you have nothing to forgive your caregivers for, because they also went through childhood trauma. You know how hurt people hurt other people? Hurt people hurt people. So they didn't know any different. That is what they knew. Maybe if discipline for you, I remember for some of us, I did not go through that, but I had friends and neighbors who went through that. You know how we have the kitchen in our villages that's outside the main house, and then on top of the fire at the roof, there's something they built there, like a shelter with the wood where the firewood is kept to dry. It's called itara in Kikuyu. I don't know what you call it in your mother tongue. Some people were beaten and placed on the itara so that smoke would choke you as a form of discipline. And then you're done, and then it happens to you Monday to Friday. It traumatizes you, my friend. You are angry. You feel unloved. You feel neglected. You feel all those kinds of things. Or like I've said, those ones who, if you make mistakes this whole month, you won't be beaten. You'll be beaten end of next month, and then you're told that early in advance, so you have anxiety and fear and like running away from home. Those things affect you, but you have to do the work, otherwise you will be so unhappy, because the inner child, that young girl, that young boy is the person who enjoys life. You cannot just leave them behind with their suffering. Okay, when you suffer as a child or when you go through trauma, even as adults, you develop PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. You understand? So you have coping mechanisms. So you might have left that child behind in the abandonment, but those coping mechanisms is what you're carrying around with you right now. So as a child, when you went through the trauma, you maybe hid those feelings. and that might have worked for you. But when you bury your feelings, you bury who you are. As an adult, you need your feelings to tell you who you are and to guide you to becoming the person that you are. So I have a link down below. The link is a meditation video. It takes you back. You know how meditation videos, you just stay at a quiet place and you focus, and they just take you back, your mind back, the memory lane, back to your childhood, and you find that child and you talk to that child. It can feel a bit psychotic, but then it worked for me. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Don't open the link before I finish this video, because there are things I need to tell you about that video. Also, you cannot you cannot use that video. Listen to it when you're in a matatu, in a shamba, in your car, it has to be somewhere quiet, like in your room or in the sitting room. Just sit quietly with no noise and focus. It works wonders. It worked for me. If it doesn't work for you, maybe you don't have you don't need to heal your inner child, or it's not yet time. Please try that video. Also, if you have children, you're a parent, this video is really, I think this content is really important for you. How do you ensure your child does not go through trauma? Like for me, I didn't go through extreme cases of trauma. I was taken to boarding school, but it traumatized me because I felt neglected. I felt abandoned. I was bullied in that school. Oh God, I hated school. And for most people who went to boarding schools, they understand what I'm saying and what I mean. So talk to your child. Have family meetings. If you're a parent right now, have family meetings. Ask them, what is it you like about mom? Do you like your school? Okay, so today's meeting we will talk about this and this. Have those meetings. I also like what I call them the millennial parents or modern parenting, where you tell your child how much you love them. They tell you they love you back. You hug them even before they go to bed. In the morning, you tell them good morning. You tell them you love them. You tell them this is a safe house, this is a safe space. We do not keep secrets from one another. If you have something bothering me, you tell me. If you have something bothering me, I tell you. How do we maintain that our children our homes are safe for our children, that there is that security? Because you see, like for those who go through childhood trauma, mostly you go through it through the people who are supposed to love you and protect you. They don't know they're hurting you, but then you go through it. So the same people that are hurting you cannot be the same people that are protecting you. You cannot get healing the same place that you got hurt. You understand? So how can we create a safe space for our children? Talk to them. Create a safe, have family meetings, have them. Even if it's once a month, it doesn't have to be pre-planned. You can even decide. If it's on a Saturday, the children are around, just ask them questions randomly. If you feel like a family meeting will look too formal, just ask them. What do you think about daddy? What is it daddy does that you don't like? Okay, what is it you'd like us to be doing during the weekend? Like, create that safe space for them. Yes. So, moving forward, you can go for therapy. You can't go for therapy. Especially, we are angry. Why people are depressed here? People are suicidal. And the worst part is that trauma, we take it and put it on other people. We keep hurting our children. How can we break that pattern? Why don't you be the one to break it, even in your families? I know my parents went through a bit of trauma growing up. Most parents went through that, And then if they don't heal it, they put it on you. And what do? You put it on your children. How do we break this pattern? You can go to therapy. I went to therapy. That's where I got the meditation thing that I am bringing to you, because that is what worked for me. You can go to therapy. You can do self-care. Self-care, like you take care of yourself, buy yourself nice things, tell yourself amazing things, jibembeleze. Sometimes mujibembeleza mpaka rona sasa nimejiharibu. You know how you can, mkiambona, you're told ukibembeleza mtoto sana utamharibu. Sometimes mpaka najiharibu. Like I am so good to myself. I heal that child. Najiongeleshanga kama mtoto. I talk to that. That child comes so huko ndani. I tell her it's okay. We are gonna be fine. This is safe now. I will take care of you. That child who was hurt by that trauma is still hurt today. You have to find that child and heal that child. Otherwise, you will be so unhappy. You will be so depressed. You'll be so angry. Kitu kidogo, something very little happens to you, you blow up. You commit suicide. You go to hospital with depression. I'm not saying this is the only thing that causes some of these things, but it is a start. This channel, we start with ourselves, we heal ourselves, we seek our own happiness, we live full lives. So watch that video, watch that link down below. I know it's a YouTube link, so it will take you to that YouTube channel. Watch it, but then come back here and tell me what went through. Did you find your inner child? What was she looking like? What did he look like? Were they confused? Mine was okay. I will talk about how I found my inner child after you tell me yours, because mine was, oh god, it was crazy. I loved it. It worked for me. I don't have those anger episodes anymore. I loved it. I found my inner child. Find your inner child. Healed that child who went through trauma. Like I said, be your own parent. You will never turn back time so your parents can do the right thing, so they can hug you, so they can tell you you're worthy, and so they, but you can give yourself what they did not give you. It's an apology is okay, but when you heal your inner child, when you do this, especially follow this link, when you do these meditation videos, you will realize you have nothing to forgive them for. They didn't want to hurt you on purpose. They did what they had to do. So, healing childhood trauma. Have you been to therapy and maybe you found out you had childhood trauma? How did you heal your inner child? How did it work for you? Counselors and therapists who watch my video, I get a lot of emails from you guys. Please write down below, what other ways can we do to heal our inner child? What other things can we do? Also, writing a letter to yourself, to your younger self, to Kamso. My name is Muthoni, so short name is Mso. So I call her Kamso because she's like a small girl, like 10 years. Kamso, you are safe. You are beautiful. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You are worthy of love. You are amazing. Like, give yourself those things you are not given. Take care of yourself. Buy yourself nice things if you didn't get that. Give yourself a break. Take a nap in the afternoon if you didn't get that nap. You're busy taking care of your other children, of your other siblings. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me if these videos are coming through for you. Yes, and I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you watching these videos. Let's do this together. Let's go through healing together. Let's help one another. My name is Muthoni Mukiri, and you have been watching Muthoni's Mission. Thank you.